I've been with my current gym for around 9 months. I go quite regularly, but I wouldn't call myself a gym bunny. Even if I was one, I wouldn't ever call myself that. I go around 4 to 5 times a week and focus on all-round fitness, strength and stamina. I never used to be a gym goer, so I signed up to a rather expensive gym on a 12-month contract to psychologically force myself to go. And for the most part, it is working. Although I do cringe slightly each time the membership fees leave my bank account. However, paying more per month gives you perks that aren't necessary, but are kind of nice. For example, in the changing rooms alone, you are given warm towels, shampoo and conditioner, and access to a sauna. I'm a no-frills kind of girl, but I have to say, the sauna is a great feature, and one I definitely use at least twice a week. I'm waffling so much right now, because what I'm about to say scares and embarrasses me in equal measures. I'm a logical, rational person, but I have no explanation for what is going on in that room. About 2 months ago it started. I'd just done a 10-kilometer run on the treadmill and beaten my personal best. After a cool down and a stretch, I went to the sauna and was greeted by an empty room. Excellent. I was laying on the bench about 5 minutes in when I heard someone enter. I kept my eyes closed and vowed not to speak to them unless they initiated conversation. Call me rude, but I just don't enjoy it. They didn't. But I did get that feeling that they were looking at me. Or at least, looking over in my direction. Call it a sixth sense or women's intuition, but I really didn't like the idea of a stranger staring at my towel-wrapped naked body drenched in sweat, so I sat up loudly to rearrange myself to force them to look away. But there was no one there. That's odd. I didn't hear them leave. I shook my head and closed my eyes and began to relax again. Less than a minute later, I got the feeling again, this time from behind me. It really felt like there was someone's eyes carving into my neck with lasers. My neck was burning, and all of a sudden I was scared to look behind me. I thought I could hear whispering from hundreds of faraway voices. Nothing distinguishable, but most definitely there. Or was it just a fly buzzing near my ear? The energy was getting closer and closer, and the closer it got, the more I needed to turn around and the less I could. I could sense a hand reaching out to touch my shoulder, brushing the tiny hairs stood to attention on my skin. I couldn't move. Frozen to my seat and desperate to look when the door to the sauna opened and another member entered singing a cheery "hello" as she sat down. The energy had gone and I was unglued from my seat. My breath was short, shallow and painful. I decided I must be dehydrated and letting my imagination run wild, so I left, showered and got out of the gym in record time. I laughed about it when I got home. Laughed about how real it had felt and mused on the powerful nature of human imagination. Despite this, I didn't use the sauna for a few weeks. Every time I went to go in, a sickly feeling in my stomach made me conveniently remember that I didn't have time and had to get going. Each time I used the gym, the excuses got more and more ludicrous, and I realized I was scared. Really scared of a sauna. Fear turned to anger, so when my training partner Jessica asked if I wanted to use the sauna after a particularly grueling session, I agreed. We entered. the hot air hitting us like when you step off an air-conditioned plane in a foreign country for the first time. We took up our positions in the highest benches where the heat wraps you up like an electric blanket. It was nice. Neither one of us feeling the need to chat, so we just sat in a friendly, comfortable silence. The whispering began only a couple of minutes in. I tensed and looked at the sand timer on the wall. Only 8 minutes left to endure. That's okay. Just ignore the sounds. You're safe. You're not alone. The voices aren't real. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jessica sitting up straight, looking around her in a confused manner. She caught my eye, and in that moment I knew. She could hear them too. It wasn't just my imagination. "I'm not feeling too good," I stammered. "Do you mind if we call it a day in here?" Jessica nodded. She looked too frightened to say anything. I tried to stand but felt my thighs lock into position on the bench. Jessica too was rooted. The voices were getting louder and the lights were dimming. I tried to call for help, but no sound came out. The heat was intensifying. The thermometer on the wall was showing 100 degrees, 105 degrees, 110. It was rising at an alarming rate. I looked away at Jessica, but she was gone. Vanished. Oh my God. The voices were so loud now it was hurting my ears, and still I was stuck. Still I was glued to the bench, unable to move, unable to get out. The cacophony of sound was drilling into my brain. I could feel blood dripping down the side of my face from my burst eardrums. I couldn't scream, couldn't move, couldn't stop them from coming for me. Oh God, no. Please, no. Not like this. Not like this. As I took my last few breaths, body burning and convulsing, I saw 2 gleaming eyes coming out of the darkness to consume me. "You are mine." Saunas are a great place to take a few minutes for yourself to relax. But if you hear voices in the dark, shadowy corners, then get out. It's like the fires of hell in here. And you'll never leave. I'll never leave.